Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a keynote speaker. Congressman Stutzman is a fourth-generation farmer who grew up on a farm in Howe, Indiana. As co-owner with his father, he runs Stutzman Farms, farming 4,000 acres in the Michiana area. He is also owner of Stutzman Farms Trucking. As a farmer and a small business owner, he understands the challenges that Hoosiers face every day. Marlin and his wife Christy have two sons, Peyton and Preston. The Stutzman are active members of Community Baptist Church in Northeast Indiana. Congressman Stutzman was elected to represent the Indiana's 3rd U.S. Congressional District in 2010 after serving in the Indiana House and Senate. He has a 100% pro-life voting record in every legislative seat he has held. Ladies and gentlemen, Congressman Stutzman.
Good morning. What a great crowd. Give yourselves a hand. I don't know what there's left to say after listening to the speakers that have already spoken. Would you give them a hand as well? Wow. What a great group. To Dr. Tom McGovern, you hit the nail on the head. As a doctor, as a Catholic, as a citizen of this great country, your perspective today was just fantastic. To see the issues that our healthcare physicians and nurses and providers are facing because of Obamacare is sad to hear from them on a day-to-day basis, and that's what I hear consistently across Northeast Indiana day-to-day when I talk to those types of folks. So thank you, Dr. McGovern, for being here. Coach, wow, I'll play football for you. Where do we line up? I tell you, it's wonderful to hear the types of people that we have in our community that are teaching young men and women that are involved in our community, who see the perspective and that want to make a difference for America and for our communities. Mr. Hagar, what a great story. As a business owner, we're here today celebrating religious freedom. We're here celebrating faith and freedom, not only particularly our religious freedom, but also economic freedom. Economic freedom is one of the very fundamentals and the foundations for America to be strong. Thank you for what you do as a small business owner, and I do believe that you built your business. And you all met Christy. What can I say? A blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while. I also want to introduce my sons, Peyton and Preston, who they're sitting up here in the front with their cousins, Amy and Corey, bundled up under the blanket. But I have to tell you, I grew up in a Mennonite home. And as many of you know, we have a lot of Mennonites around Northeast Indiana. And people ask me, well, how did you ever get into politics if you were a Mennonite? Well, I always tell them I went wild and I married a Baptist girl. I tell you, as a Protestant, I have to make this political observation today. As many of you know, Mitt Romney made his choice for vice president in Paul Ryan. I just have to make this observation. We have a Mormon and a Catholic on the ticket. Protestants, it's okay. It's all right. I tell you, it's a great privilege for me to be here today. Thank you for inviting me to join you today. I'm encouraged to see so many of you here this morning to celebrate our first freedom and to dedicate ourselves to its preservation. This gathering isn't about the politics of division. This rally is not meant for a specific group, is it targeted at a particular denomination or focused on one particular gender. Catholics, Protestants, laymen, clergy, young and old, physicians, patients, men and women, boys and girls. This indeed is a diverse group standing up for religious freedom. Called the first freedom, if you notice in your Constitution, religious liberty is a cornerstone of the American experiment in self-government. Our nation is grounded in the belief that freedom begins with an individual's right to follow the guide of their own conscience. The First Amendment says that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. I believe our founding fathers got it right. They put this first because they understood that something so precious, so personal, so essential to our individuality needed to be front and center. Because faith influences all aspects of our lives. We cannot put religious liberty on the shelf. Individuals and institutions should be free to exercise their religious beliefs within their private spheres, as well as to engage publicly on the basis of religion. This includes the ability to practice one's faith at one's home, place of worship, and work. I agree with President Barack Obama, who said this, that we can't leave our values at the door. I agree wholeheartedly with First Lady Michelle Obama, who said that, quote, faith isn't just about showing up on Sunday. It's about what we do Monday through Saturday as well, end quote. But unfortunately, President Obama's health care law forces employers to leave their values at the door. This administration's flagship legislation seems to think that religion is good and well on Sundays, but not when it comes to an employer's decisions between Monday and Friday. The Department of Health and Human Services is threatening the foundation of individual liberty. Last August, in accordance with the administration's massive health care legislation, the Department of Health and Human Services issued guidelines mandating that all insurance plans cover sterilization, abortion-inducing drugs, and contraception. The administration offered the flimsiest of exceptions. However, by writing this exception as narrowly as possible, the so-called exception offers no conscience protection to individuals, schools, hospitals, charities, people that serve of all faiths in our communities. Jesus and the apostles would have been ineligible to receive the exception. The HHS decision forces employers to face stiff fines or buy a plan that violates their conscience. The president's so-called accommodation changed nothing as well. HHS moved to finalize this initial rule, and at the end of the day, despite the White House's decision and new talking points, the choices are the same. Face a fine or buy a plan that violates your conscience. The president might have shuffled the deck, but he's still playing the same game. On February 10th, 2012, President Obama gave a speech in which he announced his intention to provide an accommodation for religious organizations that object to this mandate. The accommodation described in the White House fact sheet continues the mandate on religious and moral objectors, but argues that the services will be provided for free by the insurance company. So it should not be objectionable, right? Well, who pays the insurance premium? We do. We do. The U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops issued a press release stating that the proposal continues to involve needless government intrusion in the internal governance of religious institutions and to threaten government coercion of religious people and groups to violate their most deeply held convictions. Representative Chris Smith of New Jersey, a Republican, said the so-called new policy is the discredited old policy dressed up to look like something else. It remains a serious violation of religious freedom. Representative Dan Lipinski, Democrat from Illinois, says this, quote, I am enormously disappointed by today's announcement. All the facts indicate that the new mandate is the same as the old mandate. New words, same policy, end quote. This January, HHS Secretary Sebulus responded to public outcry over the discriminatory nature of the rule by issuing a press release stating that nonprofit employers that object to contraception or sterilization due to religious beliefs would be given an additional year to comply with the rule. This is not about birth control, this is about government control. If Obama thinks that we're too chicken to fight, I'm on the side of the chicken. Ladies and gentlemen, I submit to you today that this is about faith and it's about freedom. I had the opportunity as an 18-year-old to travel to Russia with Josh McDowell Ministries to present packets, school packets to the young people in Russia. That trip's changed my life because what I saw that day was what oppression does to a people. The people walked around without hope. They walked around without making eye contact. They didn't know what to believe or how they would ever pursue a dream. We as Americans, we are a blessed nation because of religious freedom, because of economic freedom, because we have opportunity to make ourselves better if we so choose. So I believe that faith and freedom are the very foundations of our Constitution, the very foundations of our economy, and the very foundations of we as a people. I believe that if we have both, we need both faith and freedom for America to be strong. Thank you for being here today. God bless you. God bless America.
Once again, Congressman Marlin Stutzman.